Studnick Aquatics here. I am going to put in a mixing station for this, and it's not going to be as fancy as what some people do with the two different containers. One that's hooked up to RODI with fresh water, and then one that is mixed, and then you circulate and transfer and stuff with the pump. I originally was going to do something like that in the basement, but I'm not going to be doing that now. And so my plan is, if you go right around the corner in here, I do have this is my spare bedroom, and I have a closet, and I went ahead and built this stand here, and I do have a 35-gallon plastic container that I picked up used, and I have cleaned it, Cloroxed it. Anyway, it's going to set in here. I have already run my RODI line, which was a big job trying to figure out where I was at, because it comes from the basement on my RODI in my shop, which is off over there. Anyway, that's where it's going to be. That way I can, when I go to do a water change, all I have to do is put a bucket in there and fill it with salt water. The reason I'm only using one container is I really don't have room for two. And since I'm only using one, there's going to be a shutoff on this RODI line going into this with this float. So when it's empty, I can make sure the bottom valve is closed, and I open that valve, and the RODI will fill it up to 30 gallons. And when it gets 30 gallons, I shut off the valve. I then add my salt, and I put a circulation pump in there and a heater, make sure my salinity's right, and once I get that done, I have 30 gallons of salt water, and I can just take it out of there to do my water changes. And once the thing is completely empty, I turn the valve on and refill it again. So it's also small enough that I can pick it up when it's empty, carry it into the kitchen, flip it upside down, rinse it out. So I think it's just a really good way to go, and I'll be adding more to this later. Okay, I'm leak testing it now. Oh, I didn't mention you have to make sure that you do put pipe tape also on those bulkhead threads. Get this to focus back in. And every time I water test something, especially if it's a small container like this or small aquarium, I always put paper towels down first and make sure everything is completely dry, and fill it in such a manner that you're not leaking any water. Because if one speck of water hits that paper towel, you see it immediately. So it's a really good way to test an aquarium or test something to make sure you don't have a really, really small leak, because even the smallest speck of water, especially these blue towels, shop towels, you hit that and it just expands and you can see the leak. So it looks really, really good. I don't see any need to fill it up any farther than 10 gallons because it's not like it's under pressure. Seems to be doing good. I'm gonna let it sit here for a couple hours, make sure it doesn't leak, and then I'll drain it and put it in there and get the RODI hooked up to it. My saltwater mixing station is done, and it turned out really, really good. So it basically holds 30 gallons of water, and I went ahead and drilled a hole in here so that I can have a heater, a circulation pump, and then get my sensor in there. It's cold right now because it just got done filling, and the shop is pretty cold. I did actually put a light in here too. And you don't want to mix up the salt until you're up to temp, because it doesn't, the salt is meant to be mixed at a temperature of 76 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you mix it when it's cold, it'll change your salinity. So I'm going to wait until that gets done. And once we get this thing up to, it's 59 right now, so it's going to take a while. So once we get that up to 76 to 78, then I will add the salt, turn the circulation pump on, which it's running right now just to get temp up. And then we'll be good to go. Then all I have to do is slide a bucket underneath it and get my water change water. And I do have a shut off there. So I am going to go ahead and shut that off right now so that I don't accidentally add water when I take it out. So this is Studnick Aquatics. Thanks for watching.